Elliot here from the Bear Pit TV. We're joined by Jim from Palace Fan TV. Welcome, Jim. Going into this weekend, I'm a little worried about Palace's forward line and your wingers because they're quite pacey, tricky. Balassi, Zaha, how have they been doing for you this season?
It's interesting because everyone thinks they're our best players, and they are. On the day, they can be our best players. They're fantastically talented lads, but everyone sees from the outside of the club, sort of sees the highlight reel, so you see all the best bits they do. But as wingers can be in any team, they can be inconsistent. So some games they're on it, and some games they're not. And when they are, they're fantastic. You know, we beat Newcastle 5-1 a few weeks ago. They were absolutely brilliant. But then we went away to Everton, and it, they struggled a little bit. So they can be up and down. But when we play away from home, we like to play counter-attack. We like to play wide with Yannick and Wilf on the wings. So they will be our main focal point. And if they have good games, as they did last season at the Britannia, when Yannick won a penalty and Wilf scored the winner, they can be a real threat. But it's certainly not every game that they're 10 out of 10.
Yeah. So Stoke this season, as you may have seen, we've had a terrific result against Man City the other week and a not so great one against West Ham last weekend. What have you made of Stoke so far this season?
I'm genuinely really impressed by Stoke. I think they play fantastic football. You've got incredible players in there. Like your forward line, talking about our forward line, your forward line is unbelievable. It's the sort of thing I can imagine Stoke fans on Championship Manager would only think of happening on that, but it's actually happening in real life.
It's happening.
It is fantastic. And I think Stoke are very much a team that Palace wanted to emulate when they came up. And I think now we're not too far behind you. We play a similar style. We've got some players, you've got Bojan and Shaqiri. We've got Johan Kabay. So
we both had the Pulis days.
We've both had the Pulis days. I think there's quite a lot of similarities. We're both run by local businessmen as well. I think there is a lot of similarities. And I kind of hope that the way things are going with teams like Stoke and Palace proving they can challenge not just top 10, but top 6. Who knows, maybe even top 4 if you have a really crazy season. I think it's great. So very much a team that Palace are trying to emulate and not too far behind.
Okay, so where do you think this season Stoke are going to finish up? Where do you think our season's going to go? Because a lot of people at the moment don't really know whether we're going to just level it out and finish mid-table as per usual, around 9th or 10th, or do you think we can hit those top heights and maybe qualify, get into Europe?
I think there's exactly a question that a lot of Palace fans will be asking themselves as well, and I just think, to be honest, if Stoke can do it, then Palace can do it. And I genuinely think the sky's the limit for both teams at the moment because confidence is high, the ability is high. People are genuinely now playing against both these teams and are actually quite scared of playing them. I'm genuinely terrified of going to the Britannia. I think
it's going to be
a chance you could.
It's your first time going?
It's my first time going, yeah.
You brace yourself.
It's going to be an experience.
Yeah.
Well, I think, there's a chance you could turn us over, but you were saying on our preview that you're worried about playing against Palace. So I think it's two teams that are genuinely making people sit up and notice. I think Stoke could easily get top 6. Yeah. Genuinely, it's one of those seasons where I think anything can happen, but I think Palace could too. I wouldn't be surprised if we end up something like 6th and 7th next
around
to each other.
Those. Yeah, I mean, and we're also in the semi-finals of the Capital One Cup, so you never know.
Yeah.
We could go into the final and maybe win that and get into Europe, different sort of route.
I'm actually quite jealous of that because that was the next thing on Palace's agenda. We wanted to have a nice cup run. Like we've now solidified in the Premier League. A good cup run would be great. Unfortunately, we went out the cup to Man City. We got absolutely hammered. I went up there. It was a horrible night. So yeah, you're certainly having the sort of season that we would like to have, I think, next season.
Okay, so going into the weekend now, what you're going to give me is your score prediction. What you're hoping for?
It's kind of a cliche, but to go to the Britannia and get anything, I think is a good result.
Yeah, it is.
And I would take a point. Last season I'd taken a point and we snuck it 2-1. We got a very, very good result up there. I think it'll be much harder. I actually think Saturday's game will be one of our hardest, if not our hardest game of the season. So far. Judging by the way you're playing and the team you've got and the fact that Shaqiri will probably play. So I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw.
1-1 draw. Jim with his thoughts there from Palace Fan TV. Thanks for coming on, Jim.
No problem.
Go and check out their channel. I'll put a link in the description so you can go and hit it up. Leave in the comments below what you think your scores, the scoreline is going to be, and subscribe.
So this week, or yesterday, sorry, Bojan said about Champions League in a couple of years.
Yeah, it's possible, ain't it?